Hello, I'm Madison Visto. I'm going to wait a few minutes and see if any viewers pop on, and we'll start here in the next few minutes. Thanks for your patience. If you're just jumping on the call, we're waiting for a few more people to log on before we begin. But go ahead and check us out on Instagram or on Twitter while you wait. If you can, write your name over in the comment section so I can say hello to you. All right, well, we'll start now. If you hear any loud, excited people in the background, I'm actually out in the field today at a school in St. Louis, Missouri. It's a special education school who specialize in severe students with disabilities. And so we just brought the 65-inch Pro Line Plus into the school, and we have some very excited adults. It's not even the day of training yet, and we're already starting our training, so it's really exciting. The purpose of the webinar today is just for a reintroduction. Maybe you met someone from ELB at a trade show or at a conference, or maybe you found us online, or a friend of a friend told you about our mission and what we're doing. And so this is sort of a reintroduction to who we are, ELB Education, as well as Prowise. So we'll kind of walk a little bit through the Prowise solution, and then I'll be able to show you some really good hands-on approaches, what makes us special, and kind of sets us apart from some other tools you might have used in the past. And then again, please ask any questions. We'll do a question at the end. Okay, so first off, who is ELB? We're a company that originally started down in Australia in the mid to late 80s, and we've been in North America now for quite a while. On one side of our business, we are an AV company working with Facebook and Google. But our founder has had a lot of experience in other education interactive technologies in the past. And so they really have a passion for impacting education and partnering with teachers around the country. So we offer complete technology solutions, anywhere from the Prowise interactive panel down to Chromebooks, all-in-one touch PCs. We offer webcams, we offer document cameras, Elmo. So really, we offer a wide variety of classroom technology needs. So we are here to partner with you and be a part of your classroom. We're also, ELB has been a really I think it's been a special job for me. I just left the classroom in May. So I had 5 years of teaching experience before I decided that I wanted to, make an impact in the classroom in a different way. And so all of my team members and we're all former educators. We've all worked in the classroom. We've all, had those rough days. We've had those aha moments. And so I think that's what really sets us apart is, we're driven, and we've seen what works in classrooms, and we're staying up to date on the newest technologies, but also, what are you using in your classroom and what's going to work for you? And so we really partner with you versus just selling, and we want to make sure that you have the best experience possible. And we'll talk a little bit again about how we partner with you and how we don't just drop a box off at your school's front door. It's really a process, and we do PDs, we do webinars, and so we'll talk a little bit more about that. So again, things we're going to discuss are what are the current issues that are in your classrooms, some of the solutions that we have found for those issues using the Prowise solution, an overview of how this solution creates learning for all, and then we will, again, hopefully have some questions and answers at the end. Okay, so we've all have been, I'm sure, in a classroom that has some of these different solutions. So for instance, when I was teaching, I had 2 different whiteboards that were attached to the front of my classroom. Those obviously could not be moved. They were stuck there. I had to use tape for dividers and have to try to use my sticky tack and put up my borders to try to take away from the blahness that they create. But that's what a lot of classrooms look like, right? We don't have chalkboards anymore. We advanced to a whiteboard, but now the answer question is, what's next? And really that's where the Prowise panel comes in, is we take this whiteboard idea and we make it revolutionary, where we can actually interact with it, manipulate it, have 10 students coming up and touching it and working at the same time, but then we get to save it. So I don't know about you, but I would have to take notes or sticky notes and put it on the board at night so that our wonderful janitors wouldn't erase the math problem or the animal study that we did from the night before. And we couldn't just, take a picture and recreate it. But now, for that. Also, too, we have seen in the past, we have this horrible shadow, right? All over our face, the student steps in front of it. The image is black. We don't see the whole complete image. And also it's bad for students' eyes. And so when we have something big and bulky hanging overhead, we run into those problems. Along with collaborate, we have to, make sure that we have to re-image it, or we have to change light bulbs, we have to clean the fan, and all of those problems. We don't see that as much anymore. And also, I don't know about you, but my classroom always had so many cords. They would hang out everywhere. And I would always have a first grader tripping on them or playing with them during read to self time. And so it just causes a huge problem. So I don't know about you, but I've ran into all of these, but this is where Prowise comes in, because we now can solve all of those problems. And so these are some of the things that we think about, right? So again, we have expensive bulbs we have to change. We have outdated, poor sound quality. We have to download software. We have projection in our eyes. The sage on stage, right? All the wires, the poor image quality, all of these things are a problem, and they get in the way. And that we're happy and we're glad that we have some solution. But what's next? How do we take away even these problems and make them better? So this is what we want it to look like, right? We want this hands-on learning experience. We want students who are able to interact. We want them to have communication. One thing that my favorite part of teaching was when I would do my social emotional learning. So I have conversations all the time with some of our clients about, okay, let's give students 5 images and not give them any directions. We now have that social emotional lesson of having communication, making sure that students are able to talk out and do problem solving together, being able to take control of a situation or be able to share ideas and learn how to, take maybe our frustration and put it in a productive way. So again, a big part here is collaboration. Now students are able to collaborate in all new ways. Not only are they able to create their own ideas, but they're able to work with others and be able to collaborate and work on problem solving. So collaboration is our word. We also see up here in the top right-hand corner, we have a high school or a higher ed classroom. And this teacher is actually sharing his screen that he has on the Prowise board out to his student devices. And so that's another, we'll do that. We'll cover our ProConnect in our next webinar series. But ProConnect is an app through our Prowise presenter where you can actually take a screen and give in an 8-digit code, any Wi-Fi connected device, whether you're in Chicago or even if a student's in Florida or homesick, if they have that 8-digit code, the teacher can create a virtual classroom by actually sharing their screen out to student devices. I do it on my phone. I've done it on Chromebooks. I've done it on iPads. So it can be any Wi-Fi connected device, and you do not have to be on the same Wi-Fi. So please make sure that you tune in next week, where another EC, Alexis, will be talking a little bit more about what ProConnect can look like in your classroom. All right, so the next thing that we're going to talk about a little bit more is, all right, we talked about this system and this solution. We saw some great pictures, but how does it make it different? How do we solve those wire problems? How do we solve, that the image or having to change light bulbs and everything? So the first thing that we're going to talk about is our all-in-one lift system. And this is, for me, one of the things that really helps us stand out. You'll see here, this is what I mean when I say the all-in-one lift system. So this lift system, number one, it's on wheels. So you can wheel this down a hallway to another classroom, up. You can put it in an elevator. So it's able to be shared within spaces, which, especially if you're only starting off with 1 or 2 boards, this could be a really great way to collaborate with other teachers, drag it into, a parent meeting, and it's in the gym. And the reason that we can take it into the gym is that the lift system will actually rise up, and it will actually go all the way down to the ground as well. So no matter what grade level that you teach, your students now have access, and it can be adjusted based on their height. So here we see that the panel is actually at a tilt. It can go fully vertical, and then it can rise up. It can go down. It can also go into a full table mode. So right out this door, I have about 10 teachers that are all gathered around the panel right now, and they're all doing our different table activity games, and they're competing against each other right now. And also you'll see here on the right-hand side, we have a student who is specially abled, and so what you'll see is she's actually using a dowel rod to interact with the system. And so there's actually infrared technology. So it doesn't require a pen tip or a finger. You can really use almost any object to interact with the system. And so that's what's so nice about, the 10 points of touch is no matter your ability, we really want to make sure that we're giving every student the option and the system where they can learn based on their own needs. So again, this panel is vertical. You can put it all the way down to the ground. You can angle it if a wheelchair needs to come up underneath it. And so again, we really want to make sure that we're offering accessibility to any level of student. So a little bit ago, we talked about, what about education consultants? And so what really my role is that I come out into the field and I work on showing teachers how I would use it in my classroom. I was just talking to a teacher 5 minutes ago, and she has a student who is working on counting. And so she said, okay, show me a counting game. And so I was able to show her a counting game. I was able to, for instance, we'll just show you. I come down here to tools, and I know that she's working on counting. So what I was able to do is say, okay, she's working on counting. I'm going to pull up this sea creatures game. And so through this counting, students are able to drag up sea creatures. They're able to bring up and count. So then we can go over here. It'll say 3, or we're having students come up to the board and actually be able to label it themselves. Now, again, I'm on my laptop, and so I don't have as much control with the writing feature. But imagine when you're up on the board and you're just able to have 10 students writing their math problems or numbering sea creatures by themselves. Now, this is great, but let's make it a little bit more interesting and fun. Another really fun feature of the Prowise is we can actually get images right through the system. So with a built-in protection wall, I can actually search on the internet any image without having to go out to Google, save it onto my desktop, and then upload it. I'm going to type in underwater scene. And so now I'm going to choose this underwater picture, and it will populate in the back here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to resize this and make it fit the whole screen. And then through layering, I'm gonna order it, bring to front. And I'm gonna drag this over, and I now have a really fun activity for students to give them sort of, another way to see it. So we know that we're underwater, and now we're doing an underwater counting game. And every object can be locked into place so that students can't drag it or manipulate it once it's in place. So again, we offer, I could come in and I could show you that. Other ways that we partner with you is once you have a panel, we actually will come and we will run workshops or professional development workshops for your school. So for instance, I was an academic interventionist for a few years in reading. And so I've worked with schools to go in and do an MTSS or an RTI workshop. It's a really hard concept for schools. And so I'm able to come in free of charge and run a workshop based on my skill level. There's about 4 ECs that worked really hard over the last few months, and we've created really hands-on workshop so that you and your teachers can have some really strong PD days. So for instance, we also offer a Google integration. We're all working on our Google certification, and so we can come in and help your teachers be able to put Google Classroom into use. We can come in and we can help you do a grant writing project. So if there's teachers who really want a panel, you guys don't have the funding right now, we could actually come in and run a workshop to teach your school how to write a grant, what goes into it, how do you do the research, what are the best practices. And so we really encourage you to email us at pd@elbglobal.com to request a catalog with more features about what workshops that we do run. And again, these are all free of charge. So again, we partner with you. We're not just like going to drop a box off at your doorstep. And so also we run demos. And so if you're interested in a panel, we will actually free of charge send you a demo panel out to your school where you can have it at your school. Hopefully an EC will come in person, or you'll do a webinar, which is what we're doing today. We are building this panel for them, and we're doing a tutorial of best practices, how to use some of the basic features, and then they're going to have it at their school for 3 to 4 weeks where real students can be on it, they can use it, they can wheel it around, and they can ask themselves, is this a tool that works for us? If it's not a tool that they have the money for, or they decide it's not what they're looking for, we take it back and we take it to another school. But 95% of the time, 100% of the time, most of our schools, if they have the funding, they actually will keep the panel and purchase it. When panels are purchased, an EC will always come with that panel in a sense. It's kind of like a package deal where you will have help with lesson creation, or you need help learning how to use it. We will run professional development classes free of charge with your staff to help them feel comfortable with the program. And so it's really important that you don't just have the system. Statistics show that if you're not using that system, you're not learning how to use it within the first 30 to 60 days, guaranteed you're not going to be really utilizing it in the best way possible, or that buy-in won't be there throughout your school. So we really want to make sure that we partner with you and we show you and we share best practices. So again, I want to really highlight, our touchscreens are designed for everybody. So we do offer anti-glare technology. You can keep the lights on. So that's a really important thing. When you're using a projector, you have to turn the lights off, and then it's hard to see your class. Or if you're watching, for instance, a movie and the sun's hitting it, at a weird angle, you don't have to worry about any of that. You can change the brightness on the screen just like you would on your Windows 10 desktop or laptop. That's how you have to think of the Prowise. It is a 65-inch Windows 10 computer that offers all of the amenities of having a personal computer. And so that's a really great way to look at it. It's a Windows 10 computer, and what you can do with the computer, you can also do with the panel. So again, we talked about this word solution a lot. We don't call it a product because a product is something that you sell. Really what Prowise is doing is, again, we're partnering with you to give you a solution, to give you that flexible 21st century classroom where students are adapting and they're changing and they're getting prepared for the future. And so again, you can start with us here. We offer the 65-inch. We offer larger, 84 inches, 72. The 65 is the largest that can be mounted on the all-in-one lift system. Otherwise, they are mounted on the wall. Here we see that we also offer Chromebooks. Our Chromebooks, we're offering a special right now that if you purchase a full set, you also receive a free charging cart as well. And so that's a really great offer. These are rugged Chromebooks. I've used Chromebooks in the past and I've seen, they're used and they're used hard every day. And students, that's kind of their main source of technology most of the time. And so we have really worked, Prowise has really worked to build a rugged Chromebook that will last for many years. And there is warranties. And so on our Prowise panel, there's actually a 5-year warranty, which covers absolutely everything. So if anything should go wrong, we stand by our product and we will cover it. Also here we have a 21 all-in-one PC. So this is actually a 21-inch version. So it's a little bit between a desktop and the panel, and it's the same Windows 10 computer. So that's another really great solution. And that has the capability, it's on a stand, so it actually can go into table mode as well. What I've been working on, of course, is our Prowise Presenter software. You can access this on any device through the browser, or you can also download the app through, any of the app stores that you use. It's on iTunes, it's on Google, so it's a really great way to access the software. So just one more thing that I really want to point out that I love is not only can you do images through the software, you can also stream YouTube videos. So I often used to do Go Noodle with my students for a fun brain break or a way to exercise. So when you choose your video, it will load automatically. And the great thing about this is I often would find a great video that I really loved, and then I couldn't find it 2 weeks later or even next year. When you save your presentation, it will actually save the video for you. So you don't have to go out and try to find the same video again. You'll always have the video until you do delete it. And just real quick to show you a few examples of what a lesson could look like. This is an example of something that I have done in the past for a kindergarten classroom. The concept is the idea of the image of a child. So this is something that I have seen in the classroom where it's a tactile approach. There's a great book about teaching us to look at our faces and what do we notice about them. You'll notice that there's mirrors here, and then they're using different objects to build. So what I did is I took that and I made it a more hands-on technology approach. And so with this, I've been able to create something really fun. You can take an image and you can rotate it. So if we're doing hair, we can rotate it and we can make spiky hair, or we could make ears. So this is, again, all that I did was I just uploaded photos using the images, and I just brought them all in. And this is really fun when you're on the panel because you can drag, you can delete really easily. So that's really neat. And this is an example of a little bit of a higher level lesson. This is an introduction to geography. Through this system, you can also do hyperlinking. And so when you click on an image, it will actually take you throughout the same presentation. And so you can actually have more of a small group version or an independent lesson created so that students are able to guide themselves through their own lesson. All right, let's see if anybody has any questions. Any questions? Let's see. No questions, it looks like. Well, I'm going to hang out here for a few minutes, and we'll see if anybody adds any questions. Otherwise, thank you so much for joining us today. We have another webinar scheduled next week with Alexis. And this will be a little bit of a deeper dive into our conversation. It talks a little bit more about the tools in depth. It will talk more about ProConnect in depth. But please email us if you have any questions. Make sure that you comment any questions that you have. And thank you so much. I hope you learned something, and we look forward to working with you soon. All right, it looks like there's no questions, so thanks again. Bye bye.